Introduction. Domestic violence has been recognized to take many forms, including physical, emotional, sexual, and psychological threats or abuses. These forms of disagreements can happen to both male and female sexual categories. In most cases, such vices are directed towards women in a domestic setup. Some researchers also posit that domestic violence can occur in both heterosexual and homosexual relationships. Solutions to such domestic issues have remained a challenge for a long time, hence, repercussions have been experienced not only by the victims but also their family members, among others. Therefore, the use of Legsin is a sure way of solving domestic violence against women, especially in contemporary societal settings. This essay provides insight into the enactment of stronger legislation and sensitization of men to domestic violence as a way of solving the problem permanently. Legislation to completely eradicate violence against women. It has been realized that legislation governing domestic violence against women exists in some countries. However, such laws have not been applied in appropriate ways to ensure that the perpetrators are brought to book. Other countries have also failed to include legislations and laws to curb such vices. A solution such as Legsin that encompasses the Violence Against Women Act and sensitization will help in three major ways. The first one is the provision of adequate funds to ensure that proper investigations are conducted with a view of bringing the perpetrators to book. This law will further impose mandatory and instant restitution of the perpetrators. Thirdly, the law will provide a chance for redress by civil society in case of any unfairness. The sensitization of the negative impacts of domestic violence against women and advocacy on the importance of respecting women's rights will essentially solve the problem. This law will also provide proper victim protection at all times. Previous solutions have been capturing civil rights without a proper way of protecting them. Such laws also failed to provide funds for the investigation and prosecution of the perpetrators. Sensitization of men to domestic violence against women. Regardless of the legal proceedings and other solutions that have been in place to curb domestic violence against women, some reports still indicate that the situation is still on the rise. According to the World Health Organization, the main types of domestic violence against women include sexual and intimate violence. Various reports have been given on the two cases as the major cause of health problems and violations against the rights of women. A prevalence of about 35% of women worldwide experiences either sexual or intimate violence in their lifetime. The report further indicates that about 30% of women in relationships claim that they have either experienced violence in the form of sexual and/or physical violence caused by their male partners. About 38% of murder cases on women are because of domestic violence that is caused by their partners. The major results of such violence include mental, sexual, physical, reproductive health problems, and/or vulnerability to several infections such as human immunodeficiency virus, among others. Men are portrayed as the perpetrators of domestic violence against women in these findings, hence, they should be sensitized to domestic violence to help them change their unruly behaviors and characters. This strategy, in combination with various legislations, is a sure way of stopping domestic violence against women. Solutions offered by Legsin program. It has been realized that stronger legislation alone cannot solve the problems of domestic violence properly because changes of attitude are not tackled in depth. The illegalization of domestic violence or legislation of laws against domestic violence in combination with sensitization can bring a lasting solution to the issue. The sensitization will be carried out through media campaigns and reporting cases of domestic abuse to the appropriate authorities. The neighborhood will also be informed about such incidents. This campaign and sensitization will ensure that men change their character. They will also be expected to take personal responsibility for violence against girls and women. Men will realize the benefits of gender equality in society and change their viewpoints on superiority in society. The sensitization will also be used to educate people in institutions such as the police force, schools, and cultural exhibitions. This situation will ensure that men change their negative perceptions of domestic violence. For instance, the program will ensure that men who follow the culture of avoiding their women during expectant periods understand the need for their role in ensuring that their presence is significant. Men will be held in group meetings to discuss the importance of household chores and the need to help women to seek healthy attention to change their attitudes towards women. On the legal aspect, as a solution, women will be provided with proper and quick access to lawful representation and justice against the perpetrators in the justice system. Gender equality will be promoted in institutions besides ensuring the provision of access to girl-child education, prohibition of underage marriages, and revision of biased matrimonial laws that act against women in the society. Benefits of the Legson program. Current costs that are incurred in programs used to prevent domestic violence are high. Most of the costs are seen in terms of health support to the victims, while issues concerning policies and legal processes are minimal. Others such as protection, emotional, physical support, and sensitization are minimal, hence, the outcome required is far below the required numbers. This situation is evidenced by the increased number of domestic violence instances in various parts of the world. The proposed program will save billions of dollars in the short term as well as in the long term by almost half for the 3 years. It is beneficial to use the package in resolving domestic violence other than using other solutions. Conclusion. Cultures that are based on gender roles and the existing inequalities between men and women have been known to underpin domestic violence. The Legson program is proposed to solve the problem. In a nutshell, with the available resource at the disposal of human society, the prognosis of the implementation of the Legson program is optimistic. Besides, the change of the attitude of men towards domestic violence will be accomplished. The attitude of the overall community will be changed with persistent sensitization to the issue alongside the enacted legislation procedures. Everything you need for studies, essay samples, writing tools, and tips, you can find at studycorgi.com.